Welcome into Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Ali Moreno with me, as is Frank Leboeuf. Frank, the first question is for you. If the 2018 France World Cup team, do you think they could beat the 2019 Champions League winning Liverpool side?
Oh, it's always hard to say a national team can beat a club team, especially the one, the Liverpool one, where we can see that they really stick together and they work very hard week in, week out. So, no, I think no chance for France 2018 to beat the Liverpool team. The 1998 team could have beaten Liverpool. But not that one.
Is.
Maybe.
Frank, that's nonsense though, isn't it? There is a big gap between domestic football and international football just because they have more time with each other. They have more time to gel, they have more time to work together. Even that 98 team, as good as you guys were, still surely this Liverpool team would be better just because day in, day out they are together.
Yeah, but we were so good. No, I'm just teasing. Of course, I'm teasing. Of course, it's when you work week in, week out with your teammates, you much better than any national team, and it's why the Champions League it's the top of the top. But you know, some teams. Like maybe the Brazil in the 70s or I don't know, the Spain of 2000, the 2010, or they've been fantastic, and they share players from Real Madrid and Barcelona. So maybe they could have beaten a big club like Liverpool, a big team like Liverpool.
What do you think, Ali?
Well, I'm surprised that we didn't ask the actual question that should be asked, and that is the 98 France team against the 2018 France team. Having Frank here, he would give us the best answer, non-biased answer, and of course, I assume he would say the 98 France team would definitely be the 2018 team. Am I mistaken, Frank? You tell me.
Of course, my dear. Of course. We didn't win by luck the World Cup. I think my former teammate Didier Deschamps will agree that lots of circumstances made that the 2018 won the World Cup. But I think, yeah, we could say, I can say that the 84 who won the European Championship team, national team, like with Michel Platini and Alain Giresse, were much more better than 98. But I can say the 98 was better than 2018.
So let's go back to the 2018 team, Frank. How low do we have to go on the list for a team you think they could beat? So if we've got Liverpool, Manchester City, obviously Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, PSG, all of those teams, I think, is it fair to say that they could beat France 2018?
Yes, definitely, and it's not deeming the quality of that team. It's just saying that when you play for a club and you reach a Champions League, let's say semi-final, you're much better than any national team because you know each other by heart, and there is no surprises, and you work every day to make sure that you follow the right tactic with your coach. So yeah, it's as simple as that. Yeah, when you work with your club, you're most of the time better than any national team, I guess.
Let's go lower. Let's go Manchester United against that team.
Well,
who do you think, Frank?
No. I think France could beat that team, or could beat many other team. We are talking about the best of the best. Manchester City, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Madrid, right. Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain. But otherwise, yeah, France in 2018 will have a chance, yeah.
Chelsea, Ali?
No, they don't beat the 2018 World Cup team from France. And here's the thing: when we're talking about the top tier teams that Frank just mentioned, those are, I mean, you could very easily make the case those are international teams. Those are superstars from all over the world that come together and on the same field on a weekly basis, and therefore become a version of an international team that are not representing one flag, but they're representing their club team domestically. All I can tell you is that the top tier talent and top tier teams, they are essentially international teams and all-star teams from all around the world. And so, yes, of course, if you have all-stars that work together on a weekly basis, you have to say, yeah, they would have an advantage on any national team. But once you start going down the list of teams and you get into the Manchester United or Chelsea when it refers to the Premier League, I think you're reaching and you're taking away credit from what was a very good French national team and a deserving winner of the World Cup in 2018.
What if they had a year together, Ali? Would they beat Liverpool then?
If France had a year together, I think they would have a real chance.
So if they had a year training,
I don't have a problem saying that they would beat Liverpool. Not at all. I sort of in when it comes to this conversation, because I know how you're steering the conversation given the spat that you have on Twitter with people regarding Champions League and the World Cup. So I know exactly in what path you're trying to take me into. But I do hold the World Cup in a very high place, and I think it's a premier competition for the sport. And so regardless of whether you think it's a higher level or not, I do think that if you win the World Cup, you have to be an elite team. And if allowed to work together for an extended period of time, you will become that much better. And so I do think that you would be able to compete with anybody in the world in domestic competition if given the chance to prepare properly.
Okay, right. God, that first question took a long time. Right, next one. That's because of me, I know. Ali, how would you have dealt with Zidane?
How would I have dealt with Zlatan? Is that the question?
Oh, with Zlatan, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Well, I let him be.
Now, in case you haven't, if you haven't seen these quotes, a lot of his old teammates are coming out basically and crying and saying that he was a bully in the locker room.
And I didn't expect any differently. I didn't have to be in the locker room to know exactly that was the attitude that Zlatan would have taken. Now, I think what I would have done had I been a player inside that locker room is not necessarily go out of my way to earn his respect, just do my work and do my job and do it well. And then put myself in a position where I'm the person who benefits, the beneficiary from Zlatan's presence out on the field. Because he's going to attract all the attention. I would be playing alongside with him, ideally, in the front line. And if he's attracting the attention, that means I'm going to be in a position where I'm going to be wide open to score goals. And I think the more goals you score, or the more ability that you show Zlatan that you can combine with him, the more he's going to respect your game. And if he respects your game and respects you as a player, I don't think there would have been any issues whatsoever.
Frank, this is a story that's been breaking in America over the last few weeks. Former teammates at the Galaxy coming out and saying Zlatan said, look, I've got $300 million. I've got an island. I don't need this. I need you to be on my side. Do you have any problems with that?
No, I don't. I don't care about how much money he has in his bank account and if he owns an island. But I like the way he, even if he was rich and maybe reach the level that he wanted to reach, I agree with the fact that he wants to send a message to the other player. I don't like to lose, and I want you to know that I don't like to lose, and I don't like the way we lost that game. So I'm really fond of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think he's a guy who changed a dressing room, who changes even a league. and the way some players can think about the business that they are in. I really have no problem with that. And as Ali, I will have served him the best I could, make sure that he respects me, and it would have been a great atmosphere in the dressing room between him and I. I don't have any problem with that.
Ali, I know it's naive from my point of view. It's the same question I asked Herc yesterday. MLS locker rooms soft in comparison to others?
They can be. And I don't know that the word is soft as much as it is that a lot of the players don't quite have the experiences that some of these other players that are coming in from Europe and from other parts in the world have had. And when you haven't had those sort of experiences, then you sort of take a step back when somebody gets in your face. And I think what you learn when you play internationally, when you play in other places, when you go with your national team, is that the last thing that you can do in an environment of high level of competition, of alpha personalities, is take a step back. Because the moment that Zlatan Ibrahimovic realizes that you're the sort of guy who take a step back, he's going to keep coming forward and he's going to continue to try to test you and see what you can produce. And I think the reasoning behind it would be for a guy to Zlatan and say, hold on a second, if this guy cannot take the pressure that I put on him in the locker room or in the training ground or in the training facility, and every time that I pass in the ball, I cannot trust for him to do a job, how am I going to trust him during the game? And so I think it happens a lot in when you go to a national team environment, when you go into a different level of play, that you have to be able to prove your worth. And I think a lot of players in Major League Soccer are not quite ready for that just yet. And so when a guy with a personality of Zlatan comes in, and from the moment he sets foot in that locker room, starts testing everybody, he is taking full stock of the players that are going to be able to help him and the ones that are not. And the ones that are not going to help him, I tell you what, a guy like Zlatan does not hesitate in putting those guys to the side and continue his path forward, because it is what he has done over the course of his career. So to be fair to Zlatan, this is not something specific to Major League Soccer. This is something that he has done in just about every locker room he has been a part of, and he has spoken his mind and said the things that he's wanted to say, and there's a reason as to why he hasn't lasted in teams for much longer than a couple of years at a time. So this is who he is as a player, and you know full well that he was going to bring that into the locker room if you were a Galaxy player. So you should not have been surprised that he was testing you from the moment he got there.
He would make me cry, wouldn't he, Ali?
Yes, he would. Yes, very quickly. They won. Pre-season. Yes, they won.
Okay, why did Chelsea not win the Premier League in Frank's era, even though they were star-studded?
I think we didn't have the experience. We came, and I think we were like 17 different nationalities inside the squad. And simply, we had two better teams in front of us, the Gunners and Manchester United. At the time, they were fantastic players belonging to those two teams, and it was hard to cope with them. I think in 98, 99, or maybe the year after, we lost only 3 games during the season, but drew too many times. And Manchester United, I don't remember, Manchester United was the champion, and we finished 3rd. They had more experience. They knew how to cope with the Premier League. They were, you have to win what we say dirty games in order to be a champion. Sometimes when you go to so-called smaller teams, you have to win that games. And sometimes we lost, sometimes we drew. It wasn't enough. We lost only 3 times, but it was enough to not finish even as a runner-up. So we finished 3rd. Happy. We launched, I think, the new era of Chelsea, but not strong, not experienced enough at some point to win the league.
Right, Ali, we're talking sprinting. Over 60 metres, your speciality. Who's winning in this race? Kylian Mbappe, Iñaki Williams, or Adama Traore?
Well, if there was a fight at the end of the 60 meter race, then I would want Adama Traore with me. Because clearly the man, I tell you, whether he admits it or not, he has some muscle on him. So I would assume that he would be helpful in a fight. But because I don't think there's a fight involved at the end of this, I'm going to take Kylian Mbappe. His acceleration, I think, is superior to that of Iñaki Williams and Adama Traore. I think Iñaki Williams is more over distance sort of speed, and Adama Traore is just a whole lot of power coming behind you. But I'm going to take Mbappe because I have seen it, that this guy, over short distance and over long distance, can definitely be the fastest of the three.
Last question, Frank. It's a doozy for you. Who is the better, or who was the better centre-back? Desailly, Blanc, or Leboeuf?
Ooh.
I will put Marcel Desailly because he always been, well, he played a little bit midfield when he was playing for Milan, but he has the culture as a central defender. He was the rock, barely tackled because he was never at the extreme. He was always very well positioned, and he was very hard to move. Laurent Blanc was a midfield player, offensive midfield player at the beginning of his career. I played before joining my first professional club as a midfield player as well. So we didn't have the central defender characteristic, main characteristic, meaning very strong defenders. But I think we were both, Laurent and myself, better in passing the ball, working tactically, and also, how do you say, thinking in advance what we had to do. But if we talk only as a character of a central defender, Marcel Desailly was from far the best central defenders.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. ESPN FC back on your screens tomorrow. Be sure to join us. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.